Hello, everyone. This is Deborah Deras, and welcome to #Transformational Tuesday. Because why wait till Wednesday to get over the hump? Let's just go right in on Tuesday and be ready to transform. I began this show as part of the Deborahs TV network on YouTube, which is Dynamic, Empowered, and Bold, because I wanted to create shows that are going to inspire you, empower you, and help you to transform your life. So I'm interviewing my own personal mentors, coaches, therapists, experts, and let me tell you, it takes a whole team for me to stay empowered and motivated to be able to inspire you. And one of the messages that I want to get across on the Transformational Tuesday show is that there is no shame in asking for help, and it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to be true to yourself and have people that support you and help you to grow. And today is a very, very special show. I've been really, really excited to share this amazing and powerful woman with you. I wasn't even going to call you a woman. I was going to call you a healer, a master coach, but I know your official title is emotional release therapist. And I just want to say hello to Kandy Graves before I officially introduce her. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is great.
And she is streaming in from lovely Utah. So that just shows you the magic of technology. We can all be together wherever we are. So without any hesitation, I want to introduce Kandy Graves. She is a pattern-breaking, certified emotional release therapist and intuitive life coach. She has extensive training in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. She is also certified in EFT, emotional freedom technique, speak out feelings, inner child work, reparenting, guided imagery, and visualization and meditation techniques. She utilizes these tools to assist her clients to reprogram their subconscious minds by creating new neural pathways. Kandy has studied and worked with a Debbie Ford trained and certified coach, experience that she considers to be invaluable. And if you know anything about Debbie Ford, you know that is amazing work. She's also the adult child of an addict and is well-versed in 12-step recovery and understands the importance of a higher power in the healing of generational family patterns, beliefs, and traditions. She also offers wellness and health coaching and currently has assisted over 300 clients to release a total of 2,500 pounds. I would be happy with 5 pounds, to be honest with you. That's right. Awesome. Her many trainings and certifications represent the tools in her toolbox which she can reach from and draw from to facilitate and expedite the healing of her clients, whether in a private setting, group trainings, or in her seminar that's trademarked As You Think You Are Apprenticeship Certification Program. Kandy offers relationship and family energy therapy workshops that improve your key core relationships directly after your personal resonance and therefore experience in life. Kandy is passionate about awakening, understanding, and overcoming addiction in all its insidious forms. And she does that and so much more. So I'm going to really encourage you to go to her website, www.asyouThinkYouAre. Welcome to the show.
Yay, thank you. That's a lot. That was a mouthful.
I know, it was a mouthful. It was getting it all out, but even more importantly than your former introduction, I just want to share with the viewers how we met and the power of intention and synchronicity. So Kandy was in the audience of a sermon that I was giving at the Center of Light Church in Lancaster. And this is something that I do on, a periodic basis, very infrequently. Like once a quarter or twice a year or something, I'll be the guest speaker when, the Reverend's out of town and they give me the honor of taking the pulpit. And I had said something about the importance of releasing emotions because I had gone through some challenges with having a car accident. Not just one, not just two, but multiple. I don't even want to tell you how many. Very many car accidents. And because of that, I was experiencing a lot of trauma and fear and anxiety around driving. And I had gone to like 4 or 5 different therapists, did whatever I could, and was getting no results. And so after the sermon, I go to the bathroom to wash my hands or whatever. And in the bathroom, who do I find? This beautiful lady named Kandy, who says, I do emotional release work. And I'm like, oh my God. Hello, can I hire you? Can I have your card? And within, I think, 3 weeks of meeting her.
Yeah, really short order.
Really short order, because I was ready to release and let go of this fear of driving, because it's really been affecting my life and keeping me from living the full life that I know that I can live.
And how can you live in LA and not drive, right? You have to drive in LA.
Yeah, right. If I lived in New York or Atlanta or Chicago, this anxiety could be workable, but not in Los Angeles. You have to drive. And so, you know, I scheduled a session with her, and I cannot tell you that I had one session, 2 sessions. Within 2 sessions, I was back on the freeway. And I had not been on the freeway in like 2.5 years. And to me, that was major. And I said, oh my goodness, we are going to get you on Transformational Tuesday, because not only did that fear release from me, but what I learned from that session was actually how to have the remote control on the power that fear had over my life. I felt before that fear was controlling me and stopping me. And Kandy, what you did for me was you gave me the control. So it's not that the fear is completely gone, but at least I know how to lower it. I know how to mute it, and I know how to transcend it. And is that the essence of the work that you do?
It is, and even just completely wiping it out and, you know, turning it into faith, because that's the opposite of fear, is faith. And there's a lot of power in faith. Lots.
And I remember the words that she said to me that were so powerful. When I read the introduction, you talked about all that work, literally in one session. I think she did like 3 or 4 modalities, because I had done hypnosis before, I had done NLP, I had done EFT, but there was more of the inner child work that needed to be done that was so important. And she said, it's time to move forward. And how many of you are thinking in your life that it's time to move forward? That something that has been blocking you, a fear, a limiting belief, a challenge that you've had, that you're ready to move forward. And another little testimonial with Kandy's work, it did not only release my fear of driving, but there were a lot of other added blessings that I don't even want to say out loud.
Just some fringe benefits, right?
Fringe benefits. There's like some icing on the cake on top of that session. If you see the smile on my face, you'll know why. So anyway, I'm just super grateful for that and more that is going to be coming as a result of my work, my continued work with Kandy. And I want for you to be able to share with people, how is what you do different from traditional life coaching, and what is the magic that you worked on me, so that other people can know how to do it?
Well, okay, so my experience of traditional life coaching would be a person that sits down with you and sort of helps you to, you know, plot or chart a course, or, you know, set goals, and maybe even give you certain assignments, you know, for writing and journaling, which are all really important tools. But one of the things that's, I think, overlooked is what happens with a traditional life coach and a client when that client is really stuck. There's a fear maybe that's in the way, or there's certain beliefs that that person just can't move through to get to that higher goal that they're really, you know, consciously they want that goal, but there's so many things subconsciously literally pulling them back and away from attaining that goal. And so in the emotional release work that I do, including all those modalities that you talk about, we can actually identify what that block is, and language is how I know what's going on for a person. This is just kind of funny, but I was sitting down with my little 9-year-old granddaughter, and it was a Saturday morning, and she wanted to watch cartoons, and she turned on this show called Word Girl. And I remember I turned to my little granddaughter Hannah, and I go, Hannah, I'm Grandma's Word Girl. I am totally Word Girl, because I pick up on nuances in language, and I can hear what a person's really saying with very specific detail just based on certain words that are chosen. And so we get to the blocks really quickly. And that might sound like, oh, I could never learn how to do that, but you can. And that's part of what my apprenticeship is about, is to teach people to do exactly what I do. And I have many graduates and more in the class getting ready to graduate now, and I love seeing them go and be successful at what they're doing.
And
so
I'm going to enter your class for sure, because I have a background as a counselor, and I was doing life coaching for a long time, and I would see my clients get frustrated because I would give them the goals and I would give them the roadmap, but because the subconscious mind was blocking them, they were sabotaging themselves. And it wasn't until I started doing the NLP work, and I know that all the modalities I'm going to learn from you is going to just take that to another level. But it's so important, because if we don't get to the root cause of things, that no matter how bad your conscious mind wants it, you'll block it. Why do we sabotage and block ourselves? Why is our brain and our mind set up against us, it seems?
Yeah, well, there's this really awesome part of our brain called the RAS, or reticular activating system. And that, it sounds really scientific and technological and, advanced, but the truth is that there's this little thing in the brain called the RAS, and its job is to go out and find a match and bring it back. And the RAS is programmed based on beliefs. And through the work that I do, we can literally, either burn a new neural pathway to do it differently, to bypass that old neural pathway that took us down the wrong road every time. Because a person can kind of take a look at their life and go, in my first session with a client, they fill out a questionnaire. And I have easily 10 sessions from that client questionnaire. I know exactly where to go and what to do with them based on the answers to these very specific questions that I ask. And so we don't even know sometimes what's sabotaging us. And so some people will come in and they know exactly what the pattern is. Okay, here it is, help me break it. Or they're like, I don't know what's going on. Can you help? And I have a very, very lasered tool to discover what the pattern is. And it's, I could sit here for a couple of hours and talk about what I do because I love it so much. That smile on your face is like, that's my tip. I love it.
Exactly. And I love how you talked about, the nuances that you're able to pick up on language. And I'm always, because I know about NLP, correcting and reframing my speech. When I say, oh, I'm going to try, and then I'll say, no, I am going to do this. And I know it's very subtle. And so I know that you're combining all of this inner child work and all of this repatterning. How is that different than traditional counseling?
Well, I experienced traditional counseling. You mentioned in my bio, in my intro, that I'm an adult child of an addict, and what that means is that I'm an adult, but there's a child inside of me that was raised by a crazy person, and I mean that with all the love that I can muster. But alcoholics and addicts have they kind of create havoc and chaos around them. And so that was my experience. I had a drug-addicted mother, and she It was all very, quote, legitimate, although she had 5 different doctors supplying her with, multiple prescriptions. She was, in fact, a chemical. And literally, when she walked out the front door, it was like a light switch changed, and she was this completely different person. Well, as a child growing up in that, I really thought that that was my fault. Somehow I'm causing something at home to make her so unhappy, right? And so I was in desperate need of of healing from my childhood. And so I did go to traditional counseling, and it went a little like this. So let's say I had a Wednesday appointment, and God bless my husband and my 3 children who lived through this with me. If I had an appointment on Wednesday, I would start crying on Monday and Tuesday in anticipation of Wednesday. Wednesday would come, and for 50 minutes, right, and they're looking at their clock the whole time, their watch, right? Oh, 50 minutes. I could be mid-sentence, and they were standing up, and I was walking out, right? And so then Thursday and Friday, I was pulling it back together, right? And then I had a normal Saturday and a Sunday. But then Monday and Tuesday, in anticipation of Wednesday, I was crying again. And so it was just this cycle. And I did this for 2 years. Wow. And so I feel like I was just open and raw for that whole time. And, I look back on it now, and I wanna try to honor every part of my journey and every part of the path. And so I really do honor the fact that 2 years, if nothing else, I was validated. That person looked at me and validated that, yes, that was crazy. And yes, that was unfortunate. And oh my goodness, I can't believe you lived through that. And, all of these things. And so it was basically talk therapy. So it opens you up, but I had no closure in the process. So what I do is different, is you come in, and yes, we might go into those icky feelings, and you might cry. In fact, my kids have told their friends for years that, yeah, my mom makes people cry for a living. And sometimes I'm crying right along with you, it's cathartic for me as well. And so you go through those emotions, but when you leave, when we're done with the session, you're back on top. It's all neatly packaged, and I make sure that you're resonating very, very high, and you're feeling really good. And the reason for that is because these modalities are designed to take you in, but to come out on top. And you literally are releasing and getting rid of those emotions in a very, very scientific way. When I started this work 15 years ago, there was no science to back it up. There's now, Candace Pert wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion. Dr. Bruce Lipton, his work is all about scientifically kind of proving what I do and why it works. Greg Braden is another one.
My favorite. So,
yeah, right. So they have scientifically proven why what I do works, which is really fun. I love, because there were men early on that came to me, and some women that were kind of analytical, and they would say, I don't, this is too weird for me, and it's like, well, weird or not, it works. Just try it, But now I can tell people, go read this book, go read that book. Here's the study. There's a study, and so it helps the doubting Thomas that needs that, scientific proof.
Yeah, I feel like what you do and what you offer to people, it's really giving you the manual of how to operate your brain, your mind, and it's like you don't even have to understand it cognitively, but once you know the effects and how to transmute and transform it, you really are free. You really are free.
Absolutely.
And that's so empowering for people, because I think that many people think you just have to be stuck and you just go through the grind, and life is difficult and hard, and you just walk through the mud. But you and I don't believe that. We believe in the joyful life, and we believe that you can be abundant and that you can be in love and you can have what you want, and it doesn't have to be from suffering, that the emotions that you've experienced have taught you lessons and you could release them and move forward very, very powerfully.
Yeah, and blessing them, really. You know, I used to, well, I spent the first 37 years of my life blaming my mother. I was really good at it. Like, you know, if it rained, surely she had something to do with that, right? And today, at age 53, I can honestly tell you that she was my greatest teacher, absolutely my greatest teacher. And
Yeah.
I honor the fact that for every lesson I learned from her.
I think it was Marianne Williamson who says that, you know, our wounds are our gifts, and that the people that challenge us the most are those master teachers. And when you have the tools that you have, you know, you don't have to keep attracting these challenging and abusive relationships, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you don't heal it, it just repeats and repeats and repeats.
Oh, absolutely.
The same boss, the same relationship, the same situation. You're trying to heal that relationship, in your case with your mother, and it's manifesting in other female figures in your life, and you don't know why you're stuck in an area, and it could be an area of career or an area of money that has nothing to do with your mother, but it's the energy that's being blocked.
Absolutely. Yep. That's a good explanation. Yeah.
And so what are some of the other modalities you use? I know it's more than just cognitive up here, that you're also using essential oils. How does that work?
Yeah, okay, so essential oils. They are, and you know, you mentioned a few times that this work that I do actually gets to the root of the problem, or the root cause. So I just wanted to share a little bit here about essential oils. And not all essential oils are created equal. I use very specifically doTERRA essential oils. And just real quick, on my website, I'm offering a 30-minute free consultation. And what I do is I use muscle testing to help to pinpoint what specific oil your body is asking for. And if, you know, we don't have time to go in and explain applied kinesiology or muscle testing. So if you want to know what that is, sign up for the free 30-minute consultation, and
But let me tell you, it works 1,000,000%, because
yeah.
she did it in like 5 minutes and nailed my thing to the T, that I could never have known that. I'm like, wow, that's good.
Well, and honestly, I didn't know it either. But in muscle testing, I can tap into your energy, and it's your body that told me, right? That's how I knew. And you tested for a specific oil, and then I read the meaning of that oil, or the emotional component attached to that oil, and I read that to you, and you were like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what's going on right now.
The work I've been doing my entire life. So it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a few stages with essential oils, and first stage is healing the physical body, and there's lots that goes into that. And then stage 2 is actually healing the heart. So I just want to read a little excerpt here for you. It says, as the oils secure our physical health, they provide us with the energy needed to penetrate the heart and enter the emotional realm. So essential oils raise the vibration of the physical body. And as the body lives in higher vibrations, lower energies, such as suppressed emotions, become unbearable. They really get brought up to the point of like, okay, that's not congruent with where I want to resonate, and it's really causing an issue, right? So it gets our attention.
Is it like when you wear certain crystals, like you'll feel a certain energy?
Yes, actually, very similar to that, because these oils come from the earth. doTERRA means from the earth, and these oils. doTERRA is little d, little o, capital TERRA. Yeah, and the website you can go to learn more about that is mydoterra.com/heal now, and then the number 38. and there's some videos that you could view there. But do the 30-minute free consultation. What's the harm? And I will pinpoint the emotional need and the oil that goes with it. So
it's gonna blow your mind in 30 minutes. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're like, oh,
well, it's
how
so
do you know
funny.
things?
It's so funny because I just do the muscle testing, and then I think, okay, well, that's interesting. It's not something I would have, like consciously or cognitively picked for you. But I go to the oil and I read it, and a lot of times the person in front of me is like in tears going, how did you know? And it's like, trust me, I'm good, but I'm not that good. I didn't know. So, okay, so these feelings want to release, and so stagnant anger, sadness, grief, judgment, low self-worth can't exist in the environment of balance and peace, which essential oils help to create. Okay, so they're working to permanently heal emotional issues by supporting individuals through their healing. So essential oils assist individuals in taking an honest look within. They don't actually do our emotional work for us, but they are incredible support. So they basically foster the right environment for healing, but they won't do the work for us. Okay, so using this idea of getting to the root, this is a great gardening analogy, and this is from a book called Emotional Healing with Essential Oils, and my friend Daniel McDonald wrote this book. So this is his analogy. He says, in gardening, it is a common experience to pull the weeds while leaving the roots. This is particularly true for hard and rocky soils. To ensure we uproot the whole plant, we can add water to the soil, which allows the entire weed to be removed. Similarly, essential oils prepare our emotional soil so that weeds may be removed with greater ease. However, they do not do the yeah, right? Yeah. So, however, they do not do the weeding for us. If one neglects to do the work of pulling their weeds, they have simply watered the problem. So, on the other hand, those who combine essential oils with emotional work reap the fruit of their labor. And so, like, one very simple, basic emotional release tool that a lot of people don't even know or understand is writing. Literally, the back of a napkin, a notebook, an actual leather-bound, journal that's dedicated to that. I have mine here close by. But you just, my recovery from my childhood, a big part of it was writing, journaling, and I filled volumes of journals. So that's just a freebie. That's a cheap. Go get yourself a journal and a pen and just start dumping it out. Just start writing. So anyway, yeah, the doTERRA specifically, essential oils is a huge catalyst and support for people that are going through this emotional healing work.
And it's so interesting that you mentioned the essential oils, and I do a lot of yoga as part of my inner transformation. And my yoga teacher, after we were laying in shavasana, just a relaxing position, she was putting lavender oil like on a cloth. She was, just putting it across us like the wind, and just the calmness. I had never felt so relaxed from doing that. And she was going to be teaching workshops in essential oils because, and I wasn't understanding the relationship between yoga and the essential oils and but the integration, because if it's body, mind, and soul, then you need to have it from the inside out. So
absolutely, and that's exactly
activate that.
And that's exactly what the healing, the work that I do is. We heal from the inside out. That's how you actually truly heal. A lot of people will go to a substance. It could even be, it doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol that you're addicted to. It could be, you could be addicted to another person. You could be addicted to a particular feeling. It could be, people are addicted to depression. Like, it's not normal unless they're feeling depressed, because their subconscious, their programming has been this low, slow calibrating emotion down in shame and guilt and apathy, some of those really low, slow calibrating emotions, if that's what their programming is for their subconscious the first 7 years of their life, and also utero, if that's what they've been programmed, then when there's no depression, they actually go figure out ways subconsciously something to happen to be depressed about. So that's even an addiction. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote the book Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, and when I was, writing the book, it made me really realize how at a point in my life I was addicted to being a drama queen. It was just like the stress that I had in my life was so preventable, yet
Yeah.
I was getting high off of being pulled out of a crisis,
Okay. That's really interesting because when you grow up with a drug addict, as I did, there was crisis often. So I leave my home, my parents' home. I'm married. I have children, and I woke up one day and discovered that if there wasn't crisis going on with a kid or whatever, I drummed it up. I created it. And I'll tell you, the day that I discovered I was doing that was like, I was so disgusted with myself. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually making this happen. I'm seeking it out. And I tell you, that's the first step, is awareness to what your pattern is. So honestly, the person that you see here in front of you today, had I done no work at all, I can't even imagine where I would be today. Depressed, maybe even dead, certainly not married, and maybe not of, maybe divorced 10 times at this point. I don't know. But, this work, I'm passionate about this work because it worked for me. And I want nothing more than to share it with those that are ready for change. In fact, I tease people and I tell them, oh, you cross my path, get a 6-point harness on, because it means you're ready for change. Because honestly, people don't cross my path that aren't. So I love that. And it's my little secret. It's my little secret when, I meet somebody and I think, oh, they're ready to rock. Let's go.
Deborah, when you're in the bathroom. One of the things you said that I really want to talk about, I'm very passionate about this topic, you were talking about emotions and different calibrations of emotion and, studying kinesthesiology and muscle testing. I'm familiar with that. But I remember when I was at a low point after my divorce, I was really freed and liberated listening to Panache Desai. Because Panache Desai said, emotions are simply energy in motion. And he took the stigma off of the idea of negative and positive emotions, and he said all emotions are good, they just calibrate differently. Can you talk about that, about the difference in emotions and how you help people move through them?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a book called Power versus Force.
I love that book.
Yeah. David Hawkins, PhD. He wrote that book. That book actually took him 29 years of research, and he used muscle testing extensively, and he came up with what is known as the map of consciousness. And if you go to my website, there's a box that says freebies, and if you click on the freebie box, you'll see the map of consciousness.
And it's asyouThinkYouAre.com.
asyouThinkYouAre.com.
Right under her name.
Yeah, right there. And anyway, so what he did through this extensive research, can you even imagine sticking with something for 29 years? I can't imagine it, So he discovered that the emotions actually calibrated on a scale from the bottom being shame to the very top being enlightenment. And there's various there's various numbers attached to those. It's not like 0 to 100, that kind of a scale, but he calibrated each emotion. And just knowing that, for example, shame is the lowest, slowest calibrating emotion, and guilt isn't too far from it. It's just above it. It calibrates a little bit higher. And then apathy, grief, there's craving in there. So addictions happen in those lower scale calibrating emotions, where you've probably heard of this concept of love and above. And literally, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment are the highest calibrating emotions we can experience.
What about gratitude?
Gratitude is in there for sure. It's part of love, joy, peace, and enlightenment, because there's words attached to each one of those emotions. And certainly gratitude is there for sure. So can I just share real quick, and this is part of the explanation that you're asking for.
Yeah, definitely.
I love this. Okay, so when you consider calibration or frequency or resonance, right? So those of you that are listening, think about the last, and I don't mean romantic love necessarily. I'm just talking about love. Like, I love my children. Oh my gosh, and I love my grandchildren, right? And so that's like human love. But if you ever just, like for me to be in Utah, I go to the mountains. They call my name, and I go hiking, and that is my happy place. To me, that is as sacred as a temple is for other people. Those mountains ground me, they center me, and I resonate in love and above in the mountains. The Provo River's rushing by me. There's, snow on the higher peaks, and I'm all happy. It's my favorite place to be. I do love the beach too, that's another thing. But so consider calibration, frequency, as kind of interchangeable. So listen to this. It says, you're always getting a perfect vibrational match to what you predominantly give your attention to. And this is conscious or otherwise. And so one of the first things I tell my clients is you have got to begin thinking about what you are thinking about. You have to kind of step back and be the observer of your own thought. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was, before I got into this work, every New Year's Eve, I remember thinking, and I would go to my journal and I would write, and I would think, is this going to be the year that it's going to be different? And then the next New Year's Eve, I'd be like, is this going to be the year that it's going to be different? I did not know what I now know, and that is I was the one that was going to make the year different if it was going to be different.
And your consciousness had to change.
It absolutely did. And in my case, and I think in everybody's case, there's healing that needs to take place.
And the definition, I believe, consciousness is the sum total of our thoughts. And this is why you're saying, think about what you're thinking about. Because if for some area of your life, like me with driving, if I'm fearful about that, what was I thinking? Every time I would get in the car, I was thinking, I'm going to get killed. That thought is not productive to feeling calm and driving. But I think one of the things that I studied in my spiritual counseling classes is the importance of being the compassionate witness and not the judging witness. Because, when we're feeling a low vibration, there's a tendency to beat ourselves up. Oh, I'm thinking negatively again. And it just becomes a self-fulfilling negative process. But to observe ourselves.
It's awareness. It's just, isn't that interesting? There I am in that negative thought pattern again. Wow, Kandy, wow, that's amazing.
Except, amigo, you're not my amigo. We're not on that program. Fuera, a la calle.
Right. So the thing about this, getting a perfect vibrational match to what you're predominantly giving your attention to, if you don't know what you're giving your attention to, like you don't know consciously what you're thinking about, then that's when all the crap happens, right? And then when you become aware of, oh my goodness, like me, I need crisis in my life, and I'm creating it if I'm not actually getting it naturally. And that was a huge awareness, and I was able to change it once I had the conscious awareness of that was what was going on. So, so then it says, but you've got to make the best of it. So you've got to vibrate slightly different from where you are if you're going to improve where you are. So you can't keep taking score, that is looking at what is, like of where your business is, where your relationship is, or where your body is, without continuing, yeah, without continuing to create it as it is. So if I just notice, oh yeah, shoot, that happened again, when you notice it, it's like you're calling attention to it. And we are magnetic beings, and we are energy beings, and we literally emit a frequency. Have you ever experienced someone, well, you and I have, because we've experienced each other, right? And you just feel good to be around you, right? Because of what you're emitting, right? And I've been told that, gosh, you just feel good, right? It's good to be in your presence. And there are times when it's not so good to be in my presence, right? We go down there sometimes, right? The good thing for me today is that, boom, with the tools that I have, and that I'm so willing and want to teach other people, is you don't have to hang out there. You can change it, right? So to make an improvement, you literally just have to reach for a different thought. And I think this is the key as to why what I do is so different from a traditional life coach or from traditional counseling, is these tools that I have, these modalities, will actually change your brain chemistry. NLP actually changes us on a cellular level. We will literally start emitting a different frequency. That's why in 2 sessions, you not only were able to overcome the driving thing, but you also had some very exciting and important fringe benefits that came with that because your frequency changed.
Hashtag fringe benefits.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could really seriously go on for a long, long time. I could do this forever.
I know, but I want to get some more questions because we only have 15 more minutes.
I know.
So important. And by the way, Kandy and I are so excited about all of this and are co-creating this and synchronistically attracting each other that we've decided that we're going to do a live event together. Yeah. So we're going to be inviting you when you sign up for the essential oil session with her. She'll send you an invitation. And you can go to asyouThinkYouAre.com. You can also go to my website, DeborahDeras.com, and I'll give you a free MP3 meditation. Put your name and email address. And this is going to be a private event. It's invite only for those of you listening on this session. We can only accommodate, I think, about 20, maybe 21 that I squeeze in really tight. So we're going to be doing this on what date? Saturday, June 20th, right?
Right, and it will be live in person in West LA, right?
Yes, it'll be live in person in West LA from 1 to 3 p.m. And both of us are going to be here, and you're going to get to not only hang out with us, have a lot of fun, transform your life. You're going to get to learn more about the essential oils and about the work that Kandy does. And also, will they get to learn about the program? Because I definitely want to join your certification program.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the apprenticeship for sure.
Yeah. Yes. So those of you that are already coaches or therapists or counselors or healers that are wanting to add more tools to your toolbox to be able to serve and transform the lives of other people.
And yourself.
And yourself, of course. So, we're doing this totally free. There's no cost. You guys can just come and experience it and have an amazing transformative day. Saturday, January 20th from 1 to 3 p.m.
No, June 20th. June 20th, not January.
Yeah, January.
I don't know, maybe we could probably do January too.
It feels like the year just started, and I'm like freaking out that it's Memorial Day. I was like, no, it's got to be wrong. It can't be Memorial Day this weekend. People are like, it is. But when you're living in the infinite eternal now, it never feels like a day over now. So I know you shared my success story, but or I talked a little bit about it. What are some of like your biggest success stories? What about the person that was looking for work? Money challenges are always good to talk about. You want to share that?
Okay, so I was working with a client who started dating a guy who was unemployed at the time, and she came to me and she's like, "Okay, I really like this guy, but he's unemployed and he has been for 6 months." And she said, "I told him I know that you can help him." And I'm like, "Yeah, I probably can if he's, if he's willing. That's all I need is somebody that's willing." So
Willing.
yeah, right. So he reluctantly came in and sat down in front of me in my office, and he's like, "Okay, my girlfriend says that you can change all this for me. I don't believe it. I am totally skeptical, but I promised her I would give you a chance." And so here's his situation. He had a double MBA. He was very employable, right? He was very employable. And he had made a full-time job of searching for a job. He literally, from 9 to 5, was fixing his resume, sending at least 10 out a day, and literally 6 months, 5 days a week, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, he was, quote, looking for a job. And so when I heard that, I'm like, okay, the right job, the perfect job, I know was right there, but he was the problem. He was actually pushing it away energetically. And when I told him that, he did. His eyes rolled and he's like, whatever. And I go, look, you have to be willing. Just give it a try. And so he had written me a check for 10 sessions, right? So it was like $1,500. And I said, here's the deal. I'm not going to cash this check. I'm going to hold it. And I will give it back to you if you are not, one, gainfully employed inside of 10 sessions. Not just any old job, but like your rock star dream job. And he goes, okay. He goes, okay. And I knew that he needed that to open up and trust me, right? Well, inside of 10 sessions, I just cleaned up his energy, and he lined up with the job. And it met every one of his criteria except for it was about 10 minutes farther away than he wanted to drive. But he's like, hey, who cares? It's 40-minute drive instead of 30. And every so often he'll send me a text and say, you're awesome, and I still love my job, and he's still at that job, and that's been probably 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years since that happened. And his success story is on my website.
That is so awesome. Can you just tell them the side comment that you said to me that I know is nothing to you, but to me, losing 20 pounds in like 3 months is like pretty incredible. Can you talk a little bit about your own success with that and how you work with others?
Well, okay, so about 5.5 years ago, 6 years ago, I had taken on a business coaching job, and I did it just for kind of the experience and the stretch of it. And so what I was hired to do was to use my knowledge and the coaching that I do, the personal coaching, but what I was asked to do was learn a particular software system, and then I was to coach financial planners and stockbrokers all over the U.S. and Canada on this particular software program. And then, but like my boss kind of pulled me aside and he said, I like your resume, and he goes, if ever you need to use kind of your voodoo, he called it, that you do, feel free to do that. Well, I was in an office environment. It was a very stressful job. I had a call back to back every 15 minutes. I had 15 calls a day. I started at 7 in the morning. I had to be on all day long. And it was very stressful. And of course, in an office environment, those of you that have worked in offices, you realize they bring in donuts, they bring in crap. And I did a lot of stress eating because I was stressed, right? And I wasn't having time to go do my emotional release because I was doing this, all this with these stockbrokers and financial planners. Anyway, I gained 40 pounds in very short order, and I was not happy about that. And so I got educated and got on a program and was successful myself. In about in 8 weeks, I released 40 pounds, and that was 5.5 years ago. And
That's crazy.
yeah, and I kept it off. And in the meantime, I decided that that was an awesome tool to have in my tool belt as well. So I got certified with Villanova School of Nursing in the obesity prevention program. And that's just another tool in the tool belt. I help people to release weight with a really awesome company and an awesome parent company. And I'm like an independent contractor. I'm a coach for that company, and it works. And I'm currently on it again, just kind of for maintenance, but also there was some family stuff going on, and I was kind of feeling the pinch, and I felt like, oh, you know, my eating is getting out of hand again, and I recognized it. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to emotionally eat. I want to be completely present. And so what I've done is I've energetically cleaned up my relationship again with food. And in the process of doing that, I've probably released close to almost 20 pounds in the last
Seems
3
like
weeks.
it's not 20, it's just 19. Wouldn't you be excited if you lost, if you needed to, 19 pounds? And she was so casual about it. I'm like, oh my God,
Well,
you look so great. I thought it was your hair was blonder or something. You know.
Well, P.S. I did dye my hair too, so.
Looks good, girl. Looks great.
Thank you.
So, how is the best way for people to stay in touch with you? Are you a social media girl? Where can they find you?
Oh yeah, I'm on Facebook mostly, just Kandy Graves, and it's Kandy with a K. So absolutely friend me on Facebook. Go to my website and do the 30-minute free consultation, and I'll get your email, and I can be in contact with you there. My email address is coachkandy@gmail.com. I'm an open book. I'm very open about my situation and my story, because I know that I have facilitated healing just by sharing my story with other people. And I'm happy to do that. If you want to call and talk to me, do it. And my phone number's on my website too.
Yeah, I absolutely, that was how I first got connected after we met. I just gave her a call and, just wanted to know, what she did and how it could help me. And I really believe, that no matter where we are in our life, that we can always have support. I mean, when you think about the greatest athletes, they're super great because they have a coach. And to have an emotional release therapist is like having a coach times 100, because it's like 100 times the power to be able to have the impact to really not just change your life, but to permanently transform it, so that the way you're thinking, the way you're seeing the world, I will never drive the same way again from what I just learned from those 2 sessions. And I had, before that, like 11 other sessions. So it's super, super powerful.
And
it's
quick.
super impactful and quick, which we like. Especially the millennial generation, we love to have things now. So the fact that it works so powerfully is just really, really amazing. And I want to encourage all of you to really take advantage of this. I mean, how many people can you do sessions with?
I have a little bit of room. It might take a week or 2 to get you in, but I have some room for private coaching if you want to work one-on-one with me. I highly recommend taking the course. You don't have to take the course just to certify. You can take the course just for personal enrichment, and I have a few people that have done that. More people take it.
What course are you talking about?
My apprenticeship.
Oh, okay.
You will learn everything that I know from all the different certifications that I have gleaned from and learned from.
And so when does that start, and where is it, and what does it cost, and all that?
It's online, so it doesn't matter where you are. You can be. I have an interest from a new friend of mine in Canada, and so that will be my first international person, which is really funny. I told my son that, and he goes, "Mom, Canada doesn't count as international."
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. And then I have clients in Florida, Arizona, Idaho, Washington, California, Utah, all over.
So how long is the class?
The course is a year long, and we meet every Wednesday, and for 3 hours. And the reason there's a lot of information that you're getting, but it's also you're in a group setting. Just like I worked with you one-on-one, I work with a person in the group, so everyone is watching. And you'd think, wow, that's huge and vulnerable and all of that. And, obviously it takes a little bit of bravery to do that. But the thing that's so cool about working in a group setting is all that energy that goes into the support of the person that's being, processed in front of everyone. It literally helps that person move exponentially, because we're sending love and light, and it's an amazing experience.
And there's nothing more powerful than that. When I did my NLP training, it was 3 weeks in a row, 14 hours a day. I don't even know. So, I mean, by the time we got to week 3, right, I think they did that on purpose so we couldn't even think. It was just transcending conscious mind, going straight to subconscious mind, because you're so tired and overwhelmed or whatever. That was just the method of training. But we would practice on each other, so we had so many breakthroughs. So definitely go. We have to wrap up. I'm sorry. So definitely go to asyouThinkYouAre.com for more information, and definitely subscribe to my channel, Deb TV, because if you know of someone that missed this show, they could catch the replay. This is going to be continuously accessible. You just go to Deborah Deras Live, LIVE.com, click subscribe, click subscribe. My sound effect for you clicking.
I like that.
You like that? Because my goal is to have 10,000 by the end of the summer, by Labor Day weekend.
Nice. So well, I'll go click.
Yeah, go click. And you're going to be able to access not only Kandy's show, but I do this the 3rd Wednesday of every month. So Tuesday. You're going to get Tuesday. Oh yeah, sorry. Tuesday, Wednesday, January, June. Oh my goodness, this is why I need you, Kandy. So I did this the 3rd Tuesday of every month. When you said Wednesday, it threw me on that day.
I'm sorry. Yes.
The 3rd Tuesday of every month, and next month I am going to be my own guest. So one of my other coaches. One of my other coaches, who's an amazing coach, is going to be interviewing me, and so I'm going to get an opportunity to serve you and to do some transformational. So stay tuned for that. It's the 3rd Tuesday in June, which you can look at your calendar and see what date. It's always at 7 p.m. Pacific, and we always record them so that you can have them. And when you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll get the copy of the meditation MP3, and I'm doing tons of workshops, keynote speaking throughout Los Angeles. It's rare that I'm home. I'm usually speaking in fabulous Florida and Texas and all around New Mexico, but it's so wonderful to be home. So definitely check out my calendar of events so I can see you live and in person. I had the biggest blessing last Friday. I attended an event, and the person that was in the audience, Kandy, at my first speaking engagement ever, 15 years ago, remembered me, and she came running to me in that bathroom. That's where all the miracles happen.
Yes.
Room, right? And
we network everywhere.
Exactly. So she came in and she's like, your workshop transformed my life. So, that's what Kandy and I have in common. Everything that we do, whether it's personal sessions or live workshops or speaking at conferences, is all to support you in growing and transforming. And so let's all thank Kandy energetically. Just give her love, send it out through your hands. And thank you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for sharing your resources and being willing to do this live workshop with me, and just being that agent of transformation, so committed, because I know that it's not easy having a full-time coaching business. It's there's ups and downs in the economy, and sometimes that can affect things, but you living and embodying the work you do allows you to be available, to be of service in such a transformational way. And on behalf of myself and everyone that's worked with you and will work with you, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Gracias, mahalo, obrigado. That's the only languages I can speak right now. So we really appreciate it. So, and thank you all. We we've had a lot of viewers that I saw. Oh, I saw you guys watching on Google Hangout, which is fun. And then I know so many more are going to be watching on YouTube. And please share this video in your social media, and knowing that sharing is caring. The hashtag for us is Transformational Tuesday. And I thank you so much for being here with us. This is Deborah Deras, your host, reminding you that with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao.
Yay! Awesome.